Stamped by Jason Reynolds, Ibram X. Kendi. Stamped Racism, Anti Racism, and You. A remix of National Book Award winning Stamped from the Beginning. Introduction. Dear reader, to know the past is to know the present. I know the present is to know yourself. I write about the history of racism to understand racism today. I want to find, or rather, understand racism today and understand how it is affecting me today. I want you to understand racism today, to understand how it is affecting you and America today. The book you're holding is a remix of my book, Stamped from the Beginning, a narrative history of racist and anti racist ideas. A racist idea is any idea that suggests something is wrong or right, superior or inferior, better or worse about a racial group. An anti racist idea is any idea that suggests the radicals groups are equal, that racial groups are equal, rather. Racist and anti racist ideas have lived in human minds for nearly 600 years. Born in Western Europe in the mid 1400s, racist ideas traveled to colonial America and have lived in the United States from its beginning. I chronicle the entire life of Stamped from the Beginning. The novelist Jason Reynolds adapted Stamped from the Beginning into this book for you. I wish I learned this history at your age, but there are no books telling the complete story of racist ideas. Some books told parts of the story. I hardly wanted to read them, though. Most were boring, written in a ways that I could not relate to. But not Jason's books. Not this book. Jason is one of the most gifted writers and thinkers of our time. I do not know of anyone who would have been better at connecting the past to the present for you. Jason is a great writer in the purest sense. A great writer snatches the human eye in the way that a thumping beat snatches the human ear. Makes your head bob up and down. It is a hard it is hard to stop when the beat is on. A great writer makes my head bob from side to side. And it is hard to stop when the book is open. I don't think I'm a great writer like Jason, but I do think I'm a courageous writer. I wrote Stamped from the Beginning with my cell phone on, with my television on, with my anger on, with my joy on, always thinking on and on. I watched the television and untelevised life of the shooting star of hashtag Black Lives Matter during America's stormiest nights. I watched the televised and untelevised killings of unarmed black human beings at the hands of cops and wannabe cops. I somehow managed to write Stamped from the Beginning between the heartbreaking deaths of 17-year-old Trayvon Martin and 17-year-old Darnisha Harris, a 12-year-old Tamir Rice, a 16-year-old Kanami Gray, 18-year-old Michael Brown. Heartbreaks that are the product of American history of racist ideas, as much as the history of racist ideas is a product of these heartbreaks. Meaning, if not for racist ideas, George Zimmerman would not have thought the hooded Florida teen who, like LeBron James, hip hop, who liked LeBron James, hip hop, and South Park, and to be a robber. Zimmerman's racist ideas in 2012 transformed an easygoing Trayvon Martin walking home from the 7-Eleven holding watermelon juice and Skittles into a menace to society holding danger. Racist ideas cause people to look at an innocent black face and see a criminal. If not for racist ideas, Trayvon would still be alive. His dream of becoming a pilot would still be alive. Black males were 21 more times likely to be killed by police than their white counterparts between 2010 and 2012, according to federal statistics. The unrecorded, unanalyzed racial disparities between female victims and lethal police force may be even greater. Black people are 5 times more likely to be incarcerated than whites. I'm no math whiz, but if black people made up 13% of the population, then black people should make up somewhere close to 13% of Americans killed by police, and somewhere close to 13% of Americans sitting in prison. But today, the United States remains nowhere close to racial equality. African Americans make up 40% of the incarcerated population. These are racial inequalities older than the life of the United States. Even before Jefferson and other founders declared independence in 1776, Americans were arguing over racial inequities, over why they exist and persist, and over why white Americans as a group were prospering more than black Americans as a group. Historically, there have been three groups involved in the heated argument, both segregationalists, assimilationists, as I call these racist positions from stamp to the beginning. Think black people are to blame for racial inequalities. Both segregationists and assimilationists think there is something wrong with black people, and that's why black people are on the lower end and dying end of the racial inequality. The assimilationists believe black people are, as a group, can be changed for the better, and segregationists do not. Segregationists and assimilationists are challenged by anti-racists. Anti-racists say that there's nothing wrong or right about being about black people and everything wrong with being with racism. Anti-racists say racism is the problem in need of change, not black people. The anti-racists try to transform racism. The assimilationists try to transform black people. The segregationists try to get away from black people. These are the three distinct racial positions you will hear throughout stamped racism, anti-racism, and you. The segregationist and assimilationist and the anti-racist, and how they each have rationalized racial inequality. In writing Stamped from the beginning, I did not want to just write about racist ideas. I wanted to discover the source of the racist ideas. When I was in school, the first really learned about racism, I was taught the popular origin story. I was taught that ignorant and hateful people are produced had produced racist ideas, and these racist ideas had instituted racist policies. But when I learned the motives behind the production of racist ideas, it became obvious that this folktale, though sensible, is not true. I found the need of powerful people to defend racist policies that benefited them, led them to produce racist ideas. And when unsuspecting people consumed these racist ideas, they became ignorant and hateful. Think of it in this way: there are two potentially explanations for racial inequality, for why white people were free and black people were enslaved in the United States. Either racist policy forced black people into enslavement, or animalistic black people were fit for slavery. Now, if you make a lot of money enslaving people, then to defend your business, you want to believe that black people were fit for slavery. You will produce and circulate racist ideas to stop abolitionists from challenging slavery, from abolishing what is making you rich. You see, racist policies of slavery arrived first, and then racist ideas following to justify slavery. And these racist ideas make people ignorant about racism and hateful of racial groups. When I began writing Stamped from the beginning, I must confess I held quite a few racist ideas. Yes, I am an African American. I am an historian of African Americans. But it is important to remember that racist ideas are ideas. Anyone can produce them or consume them. As this book shows, I thought there were certain things wrong with black people and other racial groups fooled by racist ideas I did not fully realize. The only thing wrong with black people is that we think something is wrong with black people. I did not fully realize that the only thing extraordinary about white people is that they think something is extraordinarily about white people. There are lazy, hardworking, wise, unwise, harmless, harmful individuals of every race. But no race group is better or worse than another racial group in any way. Committed to the anti racist idea from inequality, I was able to discover, self critique, and shed racist ideas I had consumed over my lifetime. When I uncovered and exposed the racist ideas that others have produced over a lifetime of America, the first step building the anti racist America is acknowledging Americans' racial past, racist past, sorry. By acknowledging America's racist past, we can acknowledge America's racist present. I, in acknowledging the racist present, we can work towards building an anti racist America. An anti racist America here, no racial group has more or less or is thought of as more or less. Anti racist America, where the people no longer hate unracial groups or try to change radical groups. An anti racist America where our skin color is as irrelevant as the colors of the clothes over our skin. And an anti racist America is sure to come. No power lasts forever. There will come a time when America will realize that the only thing wrong with black people is that they think something is wrong with black people. There will come a time when racist ideas no longer obstruct us from seeing the complete and utter abnormality of racial disparities. There will come a time when we will love humanity, when we will gain the courage to fight for an equitable society for our beloved humanity, knowing intelligently that when we fight for humanity, we fight for ourselves. There will come a time, maybe just maybe, that time is now. In solidarity, Ibram X. Kendi.